Maintain ECO screen is where the ECO is defined for manufactured and purchased items. To create a new ECO, select the next number icon. This will assign the next ECO number. We can now enter in a description. We can enter in an ECO type. This is that user-defined optional field, as well as a reason code. Again, user-defined and optional. Now we can also enter in the person who requested this ECO. That's optional, as well as reference 1 and reference 2. You'll see that the preliminary status has come up. That signifies that the ECO entry is not complete. If I drop this down, you'll see that review can also be used while the ECO is being reviewed by other users. Approved is used to signify that the ECO has been approved at all levels and is ready for implementation. The ECO regen program will update routings and items with the new rev levels for approved ECOs based on the effective date. Completed is used to signify that the ECO has been superseded in the system by another ECO. Canceled is used to signify that the ECO has been canceled. So you can set one up, and if you don't wish to continue, you can leave it in the system by making it canceled. So you'll have history out there. The effective date is used to default to each line within the ECO, and we'll select today's date. Enhanced MRP uses this date to determine which material items to purchase based on the effective date of the ECO change. This date also controls when the rev levels are updated in the maintain item record. Now you'll see that we default to 12/31/2099 for a retirement date. This can be used to signify for specific ECOs an effective date and a retirement date, so you can tell later what range of dates this ECO was in effect. But you don't actually have to change it. This is pretty much an optional field. Now if this is for a material item, I'm going to select the Purchased Items tab. So I'm going to put an item number in here. This is a raw material item. I'm going to put the new revision level in here. I can put a vendor, drawing location, reference 1, reference 2. Those are optional fields. And you'll see we have our effective date and our retirement date. Now I can put some notes in here for this specific line. I can also add as many material items as I want to in here with different notes on each line. You'll see that I have notes up on the header that I can put in for this particular ECO. Okay, so if this is just the only item that I'm going to put in here, that's all I need to do. So I can now come up and save my ECO and exit the ECO. While the ECO is in the preliminary status, changes can be made within the ECO module. You can change effective dates, add vendor information, drawing location, references, and so forth. Also, if you're using the MAS 500 Engineering Change Management module, then approvals are available to you. You can select the approval box, select an approval type, and those are user defined. It will define who within the organization needs to approve this ECO. Those approvals then control when you can actually change the status to approved. If a routing is to be part of the ECO, you can select where used to determine which of the routings that use this item you want to also be part of this ECO. And you select which one you want, it will be defaulted onto the Manufactured Items tab. So you'll see we already have one defaulted in here. Now in order to copy the existing routing into the ECO, we select the Create button, which utilizes the copy functionality within MAS 500 to copy the existing routing into the new ECO version. So it's brought up the new version ID, which includes the ECO number. I select OK. That will actually copy the routing into the ECO, where I can make additional changes to it as part of the ECO. See, the copy successful tells me that it was copied. It will now display the new routing. So henceforth, this is the only way to make changes to the routing. You'll see on here it's now checked as ECO controlled, which means that the only way these routings can be changed is through the ECO module. Okay. Okay, I'm going to change my revision level from A to B. I could then go into the Detail tab, make whatever changes. If I wanted to change the material item, change labor steps, I can make all of those changes within the ECO screen here. Add notes, everything that I would normally do prior to having the ECO module through Maintain Routing. When that's finished, I select the Save. It's now saved it in here. Anytime now that I want to go back in and make any additional changes prior to the time when I approve the ECO, I would select the Edit box here, and that would then display that routing. I can make additional changes to it. When this is complete and it's approved, and if I again use the approval process and everyone has approved it, then I can go in and change the status to approved. When I do that and I save this, it will put the status date in of when that approval took place. Okay, I am now finished with maintaining the ECO. In order to update the approved ECO changes to routings based on effective dates, we use the Bill of Material Regeneration screen and select Update Current ECO Routings. So I'll select that box and process that. You'll see it's completed on the screen. This program will uncheck the old routing version as the standard routing, check the new routing as the standard routing, and check the new routing as the current ECO as well for all approved ECOs as of the specific date when I run this process. To the left of the screen you will see the old routing, which was controlled by ECO number 14, as you can see as part of the version ID. You will see that this was revision level A and that it is now unchecked as the current ECO and standard routing. It is still checked as active, but when I ran the regeneration program it unchecked the current ECO and the standard routing. If I highlight the new screen, you will now see that it is now revision level B, and you'll see that ECO number 20 is now part of the version of the routing, and you'll see that current ECO, standard routing, and active routing have all been checked by the regen program. To the left of the screen you'll see the Maintain Item screen for the raw material that was part of our ECO. You'll see that the revision level is B. I can select the History button and it will display all of the different ECO numbers along with the effective dates, the different statuses. You'll see that we have had one that was canceled and this is the latest approved one. So you can always see all of the different revisions that have taken place for a material item. To the right of the screen you'll see the Maintain Item screen for the finished good. Again, you'll see the revision level is B, and the ECO history will display all of the routing and finished good item changes that have taken place there. So here's all of my routing changes. You can make this version a little larger. So you'll see that 14 was the previous version, 20 is the current version including ECO 20. And so you'll see the dates when those were effective and the approved status. All of that has been updated by the regen program that we ran. The work order creation screen now includes a checkbox for display current ECO routings only. So when I enter in the routing ID and look up the different versions, I'm only going to see the current ECO routing. This ensures that production is using the latest approved rev level of the part. And you'll see in this case our current ECO is the ECO number 20 routing. So I'm going to select that and we will flow through and create this work order. Select a quantity of 10 and we will continue and create this work order. So work order 16 has been created. Let's take a look at that work order. Okay, and you can see there's also some changes in the work order maintenance screen where we can now see the rev level. We see our version including the ECO number 20, rev level B, which came from that ECO. And if I go to the Detail tab, You will see for the raw material item that we made a change for, it now includes revision level B as well. Okay, so all the rev levels and all the ECO numbers follow through on the routing to the work order, and it will be printed on the work order as well. On the Enter Purchase Order screen, the rev level of the item being ordered will now appear on the PO line in the screen and print on the purchase order. This ensures that the vendor ships the correct level of the item being ordered, and receiving and quality control knows what rev level should be received. New routings in MAS 500 should be created using the Maintain Routing screen. The new routing can be entered manually or copied from another routing. Even though a routing is ECO controlled, as you'll see in this case for the old routing, the copy function is still alive. So I will come over to my copy function. And we will copy that to a new routing. You'll see the copy has been successful. So let's go in and look at that new routing. Okay, you will notice that the new routing has been created with the ECO controlled box unchecked, and current ECO box is unchecked, as well as standard and active routings. So now you should make all your changes to the routing, such as the part produced and any detail steps that might need to be created. So we'll just go ahead and change this to the new item we're producing. Same thing on the Parts Produced tab. Go ahead and save this. Then we could go in and actually make any detail changes on the steps that we need to, if we're changing materials, labor steps, and so forth. Make this match how we're going to actually manufacture the new item. When the routing is accurate, we need to select the boxes for standard routing and active routing. This is very important because the ECO program requires that any original standard routing exists on the system when it gets pulled into the ECO program. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and save this. Now you would use the Maintain ECO screen to add the new routing to the ECO process, which will update the routing as ECO controlled and current ECO routing for the finished good item being produced. All future changes to the routing will now be performed through the ECO system. Within the Maintain ECO screen, the master MRP version can be launched and filtered to display affected items and manufactured components to help planners determine the most appropriate time to implement engineering changes based on current and projected inventory levels. So all we would do is select the MRP button, and through the Material Requirements Planning inquiry screens, we could process our planned orders. This allows us to determine when would be the best time to make the engineering change effective.